Point. All right, here we go. Here's a look at some of the headlines making the world spin this week. And spin and spin and spin it does. It already seems like ancient history thanks to our 24-second news cycle, but the week began with old bloody fingers Trump winning the Iowa caucus, which for those keeping score at home is not a primary, it's a caucus. And what's a caucus? It's what people call Donald Trump after he leaves the room. It was no surprise that Trump won the caucus. It was expected because the GOP is a cult, and this is their version of what Jared Leto is to everyone on that island in Croatia. Trump took 51% of the vote and 20 delegates, while Ron DeSantis finished with a distant second with 21%. Nikki Haley, who thinks racism was solved at some point in our timeline, finished third with 19%, while Vivek Ramaswamy both dropped out of the race and finished fourth, kind of like my dating life in the early 2000s. That's right, this is the wild, fun Iowa caucus. The caucus saw the lowest turnout of voters in 25 years, thanks in large part to a dangerous storm that was considered life-threatening to the Republican voters who most likely don't believe in any sort of climate disaster. But those that did turn out dropped their votes in brown paper bags being passed out, safe and secure. While Trump's win was record-setting, it's fair to say that almost as many people that voted for Orange Fuhrer turned out to not vote for him. There's some interesting stats on that, but that's just a small ray of light for those rare, sane Republicans to hold on to while the rest of them chant, "Monorail, monorail," as Trump moves his grifter act over to Shelbyville. One final note, while the Iowa caucus is important in terms of being an early assessment of the presidential race to come, no Republican winner of the caucus going back to 2008 went on to become the Republican candidate. So Chris Christie, there's still a chance, buddy. Get back in there, take those swim trunks off, put on a suit, and jump back in the race. The United States government was once again facing a shutdown with a Friday deadline looming large on the calendars of all your elected officials. But once again, in a last-second deal, the partial shutdown was avoided. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson gets a gold star on his Bible verse memorization chart and one on his Let's Make a Deal with Those Demonic Democrats chart. That's got to be a special chart. The stopgap deal means the next big deadline for an actual budget agreement will be in March, and the whole issue was kicked down the line like a lonely tin can on a dusty road. And hey, it's nice to know the government manages its budget like I do, trying to get one more crappy loan so I don't have to live on the streets until at least the spring, hopefully the summer. The deal easily passed in the Senate, and by the numbers easily passed in the House, so it all moved onto Biden's desk, where he'll sign it into law before his milkshake drips onto the parchment. However, Mike Johnson has found himself in the crosshairs of those in his own party looking for any reason to frag him in the back, and we don't mean that in a good way, like the way Mike won't let himself enjoy. The measure passed in the House 314 to 108, as I said, easily, but the Republican representatives passed it by one vote, 107 to 106. The Democrats saved the day by a 207 to 2 vote. Members of Johnson's party aren't happy with the agreement, I guess meaning they're okay to shut this all down. And the Freedom Caucus, the ones that got Kevin McCarthy fired, they posted on X.com, which is 2 X's away from the websites Mike Johnson's son uses a burner phone to access, the statement, "This is what surrender looks like." Currently, it is not looking like anyone will make a move to remove Johnson, with Representative Tim Burchett saying Johnson is just playing the cards he's dealt. Phew. Close one, Mikey. Good thing Tim Burchett is too busy trying to use government money and time to prove that UFOs are actually aliens and demons trying to mess with anyone taking grainy, shaky cell phone footage. I know this is all complicated stuff, it truly is, but I once got demoted for ordering too much pizza for a watch-along YouTube show. But these clowns will keep on keeping on. All right, let's hope that budget is balanced. Perhaps feeling left out of all the simmering, dangerous tension in the Middle East, Pakistan launched precision strikes on Iran Thursday, claiming to hit targets that were, quote, terrorist hideouts. This was in response to Iran attacking them on Tuesday, and what Iran said were attacks on an Iranian militant group operating in Pakistan. I think this is what the Spider-Man pointing at other Spider-Mans meme is all about. China asked both countries to show restraint and, quote, avoid actions that would lead to an escalation of tension. Now, please don't mind us as we gear up to invade Taiwan. All right, I may have added the last part, but China stepping in here is like your friend at the bar who likes starting shit, telling you to not stare down the dude who just stole your drink, girlfriend, and your country. Despite the retaliation from Pakistan, Iran said it was committed to good neighborly relations with Pakistan, meaning with friends like these, I'm going to become a prepper and move to a secure bunker. At least Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, I don't care about saying his name right, Netanyahu probably has a reasonable view of a two-state solution after he's done clearing out Hamas in Gaza, and things will eventually calm down. Oops, like my mess up there? Nope. This week, Netanyahu told the world that he rejects the idea of a Palestinian statehood in a day-after-the-war scenario, and that he has told pretty much his last remaining allies, us, that he disagrees with the American position on the issue. No word on what we plan to do with that information, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see how much Trump agrees with Bibi on this issue in 2025. That's the news. Let's discuss a little bit more of it here before we move into our main segment.